to another episode of Don't Hate Monday. I'm your girl Kisei, and this is the space where we shift the energy, speak our truth, and show up for ourselves like the queens that we are. And kings too. I can't exclude my kings. But before we get into today's episode, let's hold space for two powerful moments happening right now. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And if there's one thing we're learning as grown women and men, that emotional wellness is not a luxury, it's a necessity. We are allowed to heal, to feel, to rest, and to protect our peace without apology. It gets easier as we grow up to say no, and you just don't care. You really start to feel like that when you grow up. Also, today we have Cinco de Mayo, which is many people don't know actually honors the Battle of Puebla, where Mexican forces defeated the French army back in 1862. It's the day that represents resistance, pride, and cultural strength, not just parties and drinks. So, as we center ourselves today, I want us to hold these truths close: the need for mental clarity, the power of emotional courage, and the strength that lives in our roots, even the messy ones, for real. Because every family has messy ones. Absolutely. This week's episode is personal. We're talking about emotional inheritance, the pain, the patterns, the protection mechanisms passed down from our families, and how to break the ones that don't belong to us. Are y'all ready for that? It's not that easy, but we got to do it. Our affirmation for today is I am the transition between pain and peace. I honor my roots and I heal forward. I am the transition between pain and peace. I honor my roots and heal forward. That means a lot. Ooh. Our intention of the day is to reflect with compassion and move with courage. Oh. So I just want to say that compassion, and I say this because move with courage. I hear a lot of people talk about their parents and what they expect of our parents, and parents, and I'll be like, well, girl, sir, your parents are human beings full of flaws that mess up just like you and me. They just happen to be our parents. So you have to have compassion for them, all right? Being your parent does not mean they perfect. Our word of the day is release, the conscious act of letting go of what no longer serves you. Please do not hold on to things that no longer serve you, because you know what happens? Then you become a miserable curmudgeon. You don't want to be miserable, right? So let's forget about things that don't hold any weight, all right? So I didn't know this was going on over this past weekend, or I don't know if it's going to happen for a month or whatever, but it's massive May Day protests that occurred across the U.S. with thousands rallying against the Trump administration's policies, particularly concerning labor rights and immigration. When I was like searching for this, I seen coverage from Vermont and Philadelphia, and it's off the chain. These people are not playing. They want him out. I mean, come on, I'm included. Um, He's also, President Trump faced criticism after stating he was unsure if a president needs to uphold the Constitution, raising concerns about his commitment to the democratic principles. I mean, I don't think this man even understands what the Constitution is really about. I just watched a video of him. I'm gonna show it. You'll see it when I do this edit. It was a video of him, and they was asking him to explain the uh, the Declaration of Independence, and it was like, no, sir, that's not what that means. This is who y'all put into office, though. I digress. The U.S. House of Representatives voted to block California's law phasing out the sale of new natural gas vehicles by 2035, citing federal overreach. I don't care. I don't know why she put that in there. We don't care about that. The ACLU filed a lawsuit against the Federal Bureau of Prisons, alleging inadequate medical and mental health care for inmates in Alaska. I don't think that's just in Alaska. I feel like that's everywhere. I don't feel like people first of all, half the people that's incarcerated shouldn't be there. So they're definitely not about to get them any kind of mental health, because God forbid they come out and really are, on top of their game and give something to society for real. No, they don't have no time for that. So they want to keep them like animals. They're not giving them any kind of medical attention or mental health. They're not trying to not. I want to say reform. Eh, I don't want to say reform because, like I said, a lot of these people that's locked up, they don't even need to be locked up. So they're not trying to give these people any kind of support to, better themselves for any kind of personal growth. And celebrity news, we have the Met Gala tonight, guys, with the host committee featuring Andre 3000, Simone Biles, Dapper Dan, and Sha'Carri Richardson, highlighting Black excellence in fashion. I love that. Celebrity chef Guy Fieri is making an appearance at Jungle Gyms in Eastgate, Ohio to celebrate Cinco de Mayo with fans. I don't know why she put that in there either. Fun fact, women over 50 now control over 15 trillion in purchasing power globally, making them us a significant economic force in 2025. You hear that, women of 50 and up? I'm not 50 yet, but I'm 50. I'll be 50 in a couple months. I'm closer to 50 than 49, right? 15 trillion in purchasing power. That's a lot, guys. Ladies. Our celebrity birthdays, we have Adele. She's turning 37. Kurt Loder. Oh my God. Do y'all remember Kurt Loder from MTV? I grew up watching Kurt Loder. I remember seeing him on MTV. He's 80. I can't believe that. So he had to be about, because I remember Kurt when I was definitely, I remember seeing him when MTV only played videos and white videos too. So I'm going way back. I'm going back at least 45 years, about 40 years, a little more than 40 years. Jeez. Wow, he's 80. God bless him. Also, we have Tina Yothers. Y'all remember her from Family Ties? I forgot, Jennifer, I think her name was in Family Ties. She was the youngest girl. She's 52. And Raheem Devon is 50 today. Happy birthday. Now, it is really, I was talking to my cousin the other day, and we was just talking about her father. I say, God, they're really like that generation. Like when we were growing up, it was my grandmother and her sisters, like they were the old ladies. And, our parents were like how we are, how we are right now. And I'm like, oh no, like they are the aunties and we are like them now. Like we have moved into our parents' place very seamlessly, but it's just like, damn, we grown and sexy. We grown. So I'm just grateful to be able to be here grown, because it's people who have not even, who I know who haven't made it to this age. So I'm grateful. All right, let's do a quick, I like that. Let's do some horoscopes. Aries, let go of emotional clutter. Start fresh. Taurus, your strength lies in vulnerability this week. Gemini, speak the truth, even if it shakes and whole dynamics. Cancer, home healing is your theme. Start from the inside. Leo, shine a light on the pain and walk through it. Shine a light on it, yeah. Virgo, overthinking keeps wounds open. Release. I love that. I know a couple Virgos that need to do that. Libra, emotional balance is power. Lean into it. That's me. Yeah. Scorpio, legacy healing is your lane. Lead it. That's me too. Sagittarius, old patterns want attention. Don't dodge them. Okay. Capricorn, acknowledge what's heavy, then make space. Aquarius, your ancestors whisper wisdom. Listen. Pisces, emotions rise. Don't drown. Channel them. Those are our horoscopes for the day. And the self-care tip of the day is write a letter to your younger self. Say what you needed to hear then. I'm excited. Guys, I want you all to tell me in the comments, what would you write what's one key piece of advice you would give yourself, your younger self? I want you to say it in the comments just so everybody else can hear it too, can see it too, and maybe that's something that can help them heal. I know one thing I would say for sure is stack every cash, stack every. Don't spend no money, cause when I was younger, I used to spend money on the dumbest shit. I mean, excuse, yeah, the dumbest shit. At one time, I only wore like Donna Karen. I I wasted my money on dumb shit. Like if I can tell myself, honey, I would have had savings accounts out the wazoo. Cause when I tell you I have wasted a ton of money, I've wasted this dumb shit. Dumb. Now that I'm older, I know I'll be like, but I enjoyed myself, so to speak. But I was trying to be little Kim, and when she said something about Donna Cameron, Isaac Mizrahi, I had all that stuff. For what? Those people don't care about me. They don't know me. So I absolutely would tell myself to go, girl, go stack that money, cause for real. I absolutely would. So in case I don't know if you guys caught it, but the tea I'm drinking, y'all know I love my tea. Um, I picked some fresh dandelions out of the yard and some violets, and so I didn't pick. I did pick some mugwort the other day. I was out at the Mexican restaurant, and now I'm just like a. Whenever I see a bush, I'll just Google it, and I'm like, what is it? And I'll snip it. I got scissors in my car and everything, and I found some mugwort the other day at the Mexican restaurant. But I have mugwort in here, but I already had that. Mugwort is good for everything. Good for purifying the blood. The dandelions, that whole flower is good for you. The whole flower. Who's giving me all that love over here on on TikTok? Thank you. I appreciate you. They're so good for you. You'd be surprised. And I found this other one called it's called plantain. I found out in the cracks of the sidewalk. I found that right in the cracks. My neighbor rolled up on me. She was looking at me like, "What you doing?" I was like, "Girl, I'm about to eat these." She was like, "What?" And she's Mexican, so she's like, "What?" She making sure she hear me correctly. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna eat these." She's like, "Okay." Like, okay, girl. So yeah. Um, our Black History fun fact: Dr. Joy DeGroy coined the term post-traumatic slave syndrome to explore the multi-generational trauma experienced from African Americans. Her research is a cornerstone in understanding emotional inheritance. Oh God, yes, I believe it. We're gonna talk about that in a second. Health tip of the day. Excuse me, I'm sorry, guys. Emotions live in the body. Movement, dance, walking, stretching helps process what talk alone can't. I believe that too. I know today I did if you follow me, you guys know I love the beach in the summertime. I love to go work out in the sand. I love to do my yoga and my Pilates out in the sand. But today it was a little rainy out. It was a little rainy. It had rain, so the sand be extra tough when it's wet. Up anyway, closer down to the water, not so much when it's up. Like, oh my God, so tough. So my plan was to walk the 1 mile down in the sand and then walk back up on the boardwalk. But honey, I got halfway down. I got like a half a mile down on that sand. Oh, it was hard. I came up. I did the 2 miles, but I did a mile and a half up on the boardwalk because it was just too much. Oh, you hear my buzzer? I'm dehydrating some mugwort right now that I found outside. Hopefully it stops on its own. I'm gonna have to stop that because I don't know how long it's gonna go on. Oh, okay, it stopped. So yeah, so I did, and further, as I was, you know, um, I was just like looking, reading the book, and I was asking like, is it better for me to dehydrate the herbs? It's better to dehydrate the herbs. They said it holds on all the flavor. I mean, it holds on all the nutrients. So, and it's better to do them in a dehydrated machine because it evens it all out. Now I was hanging them upside down, but once I did some more reading, it said to put them in the machine. So I'm fine. How are you? Thank you. How am I saying it? Samir? Do we know? I'm sorry. Everybody's name is different on these social medias. I keep it simple because I want people to know who I am. Everybody got this little cute little nicknames and stuff. But anywho, I did my 2 miles. It was too much on the sand, so I came up on the boardwalk. Either way it goes, I got the 2 miles in. All right, I got the 2 miles in. All right, so Um, what are you reading? I included this in the podcast because I just feel like for our constant elevation, we need to be. Oh, hey, Sammy. Hey, Sammy. I just feel like for our constant elevation, we need to be reading. All right. And I don't care how you do it. If you listen to it, if you read it, you need to be constantly listening to something to evolve yourself constantly, constantly evolving. Okay. Don't get stuck in the same place. I mean, if you haven't read the book in a long time, it's a good time to pull it out. Y'all don't even understand how many books I'm reading right now. I do the Pomodoro method where it gives me a certain amount of time to, I think I said that right, Pomodoro method, where it's like it'll give me like 45 minutes to read one thing, then 45 minutes to do something else. So I got a lot of different reading going on, but I want to constantly elevate. I don't want to just be stuck and just be stuck. I don't want to be stuck. So I added that to our schedule just so to our outline so you guys can go ahead and read. So the name of the book I'm reading this right now is It Didn't Start With You. It's by Mark Wolin. I'm actually listening to it. When I tell y'all, it's a deep dive into how inherited trauma affects us and how we can stop the cycle. When I tell y'all it's so uncomfortable, it's so uncomfortable. I'll have it up here once I do the edit so you guys can see it. It's called It Didn't Start With You. I'm reading it off of Audible. But if you have Amazon Prime and Spotify, they have audiobooks, so you can try and listen to it there. It didn't start with you. So I asked chat to give me a breakdown of what it's all about, because I'm reading it. So it's basically saying that your trauma can travel down. Like one part is saying how whatever trauma my grandmother went through, of course she put it onto my mother, which means it came onto me. And it goes into how, like, you know the DNA of it all, how your father can react a certain way, and that's inherited in you. It was saying how, like, if you're a parent, that if you became a parent after 9/11, how your child more than likely is going to have anxiety. Like, it's so uncomfortable. So chapter 1, It Didn't Start With You. It introduces the concept of inherited trauma and explains how unresolved traumas from parents, grandparents, even great grandparents can affect our behavior, anxiety, fears, and health. It describes the family body and how trauma passes through the generation. So, like, think about what symptoms, fears, and or patterns in your life feel unexplained. It's plenty of them for me. I'll be like, why? Like, even me and my brother be like, sometimes he'll be like, why do you think like that? Or, why do you do that? And I'll be wondering myself, like, what? And then after I listen to this, I'm like, wow, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. Do you ever feel like you're carrying something that's not yours? Yes. It's so many times. It's so many times. Like, I remember my mom had certain pet peeves, and that she would just talk about, and I'm around her, and one for sure, her main thing was like panty lines. She couldn't stand panty. She'll be like, why didn't somebody tell that girl what underwear to wear? She couldn't stand it. I'm the same way now. Like, undergarments, but I mean, I get it. Undergarments do make a big difference, but if she had never said that, would I even care? Would I even care? Um, the family mind. Now, this examines the unconscious family narrative we inherit. Now, um, focuses on language, behavior patterns, and emotional triggers passed down. Introduces core language approach, how our words and phrases can reveal deeper emotional legacies. Wow. What phrases or stories did you hear repeatedly growing up? A lot. A lot. And I come from a big family on both sides. Um, my grandmother had 11 siblings. It was like 12 of them. So we've heard all kinds of stories from about each one of those siblings. My father had 4 sisters and 1 brother. We've heard stories about them. We've heard stories about the cousins that trickle down. So um, all that stuff has a part of you as you grow up. All right. What emotions or behaviors feel learned from family? A lot of them. A lot of them. I was telling somebody, I said, like this is piggybacking off of an episode I did a few weeks ago when it's like you have to unlearn what you learned because the stuff that we learn is not always right, and our parents, they learned from who they learned from. That don't mean it's right. Just because it came from an adult does not mean it's right. So a lot of times we have to unlearn it, and we have to, you really gotta pay attention to is that right? You have to unlearn it. You have to become first. You have to become self-aware. That ain't that easy for everybody. You have to really become self-aware, and the more you read, the more you definitely become self-aware. Okay, the core language map that teaches how to decode the hidden trauma through specific language patterns, explores physical symptoms, relationship struggles, and repeating life patterns, introduces a map to help trace emotional pain back to its origin. This is one of the reasons why I really, really, really push mental health. I mean, push therapy for your mental health because there's things packed away that are affecting you that you don't even know, And until you go talk to somebody and uncover those, you know, you might just be walking around thinking, oh, you're crazy, or you might be thinking, everybody else might be thinking like, yeah, they need some therapy, and you might be thinking, I don't need therapy. I'm telling y'all, if y'all out there right now saying I don't need therapy, yes you do. Yes you do. You're the main one who needs therapy. If you're saying right now, I don't need therapy, you need therapy. I don't need therapy. You need therapy. You need it the most because we see that the trauma comes down from above. You need it. Oh, and I don't even know. I did get into this. The triggers. Maybe I'll save that for next week. I want y'all to really read this though, or listen to it. This, yeah, I think I am gonna hold off. Let me see. It's not telling me how long I've been here for. Oh, it says. Oh yeah, this is cool. Um, the chapter I did listen to that. The chapter 4, the triggers we inherit, discusses how trauma doesn't have to be directly experienced to affect us. That was one part I was listening to, and it was saying how, okay, say your mother's pregnant. Your mother's pregnant, and your grandmother's there with her, and your grandmother gets um, a message that, you know, someone died, someone that she loves dies, or whatever, and who is she gonna cry to? Who is she going to, express that hurt to? Their pregnant mother. Guess where all those emotions are gonna be pushed right to? The baby. You didn't mean to do that. That didn't start with you. That started with your grandma. That transferred to your mother. That came on to you. Okay, so you inherit these triggers and these traumas, and we don't even know about it. That's why therapy is so necessary. Offers examples of children experiencing anxiety or phobias tied to events they never lived through. Again, this is going back to if you're a parent, if you are somebody, if you were pregnant during 9/11, if you were pregnant during 9/11, that child more than likely has anxiety because that was a very, very traumatic time for us. We had never seen anything like that in our life. So it was very scary. It was a very scary time. So if your mother was pregnant with you if you were born during that time, you absolutely have anxiety. And this, I'm happy I read that because there's a lot of times where, I get frustrated with this new breed. I'm like, what, like, y'all can't handle it. But then after I read this, I became a little bit more empathetic because no, they can't handle it. I'm expecting for people like, we was latchkey kids. It was a little bit more pure when we was growing up. Like our parents left us in the house. We was making dinner, washing clothes. You know what I'm saying? And these kids, they can't even get to work. They can't even function getting to work without being, having anxiety. So yeah. Chapter 5 is the brain and pain. Explains the neuroscience behind trauma and memory. Ooh. Details how the brain and nervous system can be rewired by traumatic experiences. Introduces epigenetics and how trauma can alter gene expression. Now, I'm going to say epigenetics was basically how you go to therapy and you start to meditate and you start to change these things about you. Once you become aware of these things that you don't really want a part of your lifestyle or part of you, you learn how to change them. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. But I'm a firm believer that if you are aware of what's going on and what you're doing, you can absolutely change anything you're doing. You could stop yourself like, wait a minute, no, that's not good. That's not good. Again, this book is called It Didn't Start With You. Um, the family history. This is going to chapter 6. So the family history, I have my, let me see. I want to see exactly what it says. Oh, this is what they want you to do. Create a simple family trauma genealogy. Draw a basic family tree. Mark losses, wars, addiction, separation, illnesses, major struggles. And your reflection should be, are there any patterns, any events that occurred before you were born that still echo? Absolutely. Absolutely. All of that. All of that. Everything I just said. Losses, wars, addictions, separations, illnesses, and major struggles. I know all that in both sides of my family. So, you really have to really, really dive in and, check yourself on it. It's not that easy. It's not that easy. For chapter 7, it talks about the core sentence. Explores a technique for identifying one's deepest inherited wound using a core sentence. Helps individuals find the unconscious belief driving their suffering. So that would be, ask yourself, if you had to name the deepest fear, belief I carry, what would it be? Complete the sentence. I am afraid that if I, then it will happen. So I'm afraid that if I blank, then blank will happen. That's a lot of that. That's a lot of that. I'm not gonna go. Because I want to talk about it more next week, because it's Mental Health Month. We're gonna be talking about it all month. But it didn't start with you. And this is, I promise you, if you read or listen to this book, you definitely, it's uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable. When I tell you I have sent it to like everybody who cares about evolving in their mental health, you need to read this. It's a couple people who tell me that, they're starting therapy. This is a good companion for therapy. I'm sorry, excuse me. It's a good companion for therapy. If you listen to this before you go into therapy, you'll be a little bit more relaxed going into therapy, because a lot of times you go into therapy uptight, trying to figure out what the hell is wrong. And this book, I'm telling you, this book makes everything make sense for me, for dealing with people. It all makes sense. You become a little bit more empathetic about how people are. You really be like, you don't really know what people have been through. You really don't. And sometimes people don't even know how offensive they are, you know, because it's just something that trickled down and they didn't mean for it to happen. But that's that. So, you really want to unpack that. You really want to unpack the unseen baggage, and not even emotional patterns passed down. They can really traumatize us. All right, and not only just current too. If you have experienced something where that's very traumatic in your life, and I mean like when your parents pass, that's traumatic, because for one, you don't know life without them. Okay, so you need to learn how to unpack that bag properly, not through, a bottle or, the drugs or something like that. You need to be able to unpack that bag so your mental health can be very peaceful. All right. So, um, also journaling. Journaling definitely works for me. But me and this one of my little guys, we was talking yesterday. We was like, we be real careful about our journal because God forbid somebody find it. You be like, you know, you could be reading all my dirty secrets. So, you could journal. You could journal or journal. Who cares? Really, who cares about what they see? Who cares? But um, that's about it for me today, guys. Oh, guys, go ahead over there and get your viral body butter. Oh, I dream about my parents. I absolutely do. And I love that you brought that up, Brandon. Hi, Brandon. How are you? Um, Not only do I dream about my parents, I see angel numbers. Now, our old address was 351. I see that number come up all the time in a lot of different places. I automatically assume that's my father because my mother was here at 131, but I always see her birthday. I always see 9/11 pop up. So I see 351, I automatically think of my father, and I see it a lot. And I see 9/11. So whenever I see that, I always think about my parents. Always. Always. Yep. But get your viral body butters. Things are, as you grow, you elevate. And I just made some new labels. They're so cute. I was thinking about getting boxes, but those boxes are expensive. So that'll be like the next elevation. All right. So get your viral body butters. My book is still getting made, y'all, because I keep sending it back. Yeah, I really wanted to have it by May 1st so I could do it from May to June, but I had to send it back again. I had to send it back again. So it's coming. Stay tuned for it. It's called the Summer Jump Off. It's a 30-day detox for your mind and your body. I have journals, affirmations in there, intentions. We have certain we have like a stretching area, a stretching section, workouts, recipes. It's a pescatarian diet. I made sure that it has lots of flavor in the recipes. I don't want any bland food, and I made sure it wasn't corny either. Like even I want shrimp and grits. Because just because you eat healthy doesn't mean it has to be boring, and that's what I used to think too. I used to think that until I really started digging into eating good food. Um, I don't know why I thought it was smart for me to go on a 30-day detox when my brother's coming home. If those of you that know, my brother is over in St. Thomas, and he'll be home this week. And my brother cooks a lot. His biggest complaint over there while he was in St. Thomas is he had to eat the resort food every day, and he's not that kind of person. He might eat out like 2 or 3 times a month. He cooks everything, so he's already like, I'm cooking everything. I'm like, damn. He's like, I want Thanksgiving. I want this. I want that. I'm like, damn. Really, dude? I mean, I could do it. I've done the fast around him before, but it's just going to be harder this time because he hasn't been home in 4 months, so I haven't had his food. So it's going to be a little harder. But I'm going to get through it. I'm gonna get through it because I'm trying to be a slim, thick legend. So it's either you keep eating that meat that's bad for you, and I'm trying to get away from meat, period, too. Because meat, listen, I don't know if my cousin, he's not here anymore, but I'd be like, yeah, you gotta chill on that pork. He'd be like, mom them ate pork all their life. I'm like, they ain't the same pork. Now the pork my granny and them was eating ain't the same pork. That pig was in their backyard. They was all eating the same thing. They knew exactly what that pig was eating. It ain't the same. It not even just the pig, the chickens, all that. They all ate the same thing. All right. You don't know what these people are putting in this stuff now. You don't know all kinds of hormones. You see these little girls that are supposed to be like 15. These girls are 18, 19 because they got all these chemicals in the meat that's like, all these steroids in this meat puffing up the meat. Which thing's gonna puff up? It's gonna puff up a child too. So I'm really trying to just. I probably won't stop eating meat, but I haven't. Well, I haven't really ate any chicken. I don't really consider that bad though. So, but the chicken is. I've eaten chicken. I haven't really. I ate beef like when he first left, but I've been pretty good with meat. But I love it. I'm sometimes Tyrian. I want to eat everything, just in moderation. So, but anywho, stay tuned for the book. Um, Go ahead and get your body butter. All right, and you guys, you have a great day. I appreciate you coming through. Um, Yeah, make sure you're just living for ourselves. We're shaping whatever comes next. So we've got to make sure our mental is great. Whether you're breaking silence, showing softness, or redefining strength, you are doing the work. Make sure you do the work. Because if you do the work, then you'll have a peaceful rest of your life. Thank you for so much for showing up today. This is Don't Hate Monday, and we don't just age, we evolve. Catch you next week, grown and glowing. Peace out. All right, guys, I'm done taping.